caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
From the heaven to the hell, the mic Calderese, the caltrop, he never stops, so ring the bell. He bring the facts, he's been up every morning till we sleep. He get it deep, Mike Calderese, in your head and in your sheets. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we don't mind, and we don't care, Mike Calderese is the caltrop. And we
Good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. Obviously, I am your host, Mike Calderese, and we have got a absolutely jam-packed show for you tonight. Thank you guys very much for joining us. I hope you see, after all that I do, both locally and nationwide, that we are your defense mechanism against all the propaganda, all the BS, all of the fake news. And I'm telling you, it comes from every side. It comes locally. We're going to get into a little bit of that. Today's show is absolutely packed for you guys. I do not have a written out monologue. I actually, as you could tell, I am in my downstairs studio. I am here when I do obviously interviews. I had Sean Scott on today. That's going to be released on Wednesday. Sean Scott's a local brick guy. It's for the Brick Breakdown. But it was a great interview. But here I am. I cannot bring everything back up, but I have a lot to talk about. We are definitely going to get into just my experience a little bit with all the local politics, because this is the first year that I've really dove into local politics, both like, as far as in-depth and up close, interviewing candidates, really trying to talk to the candidates, going to campaign events. This is the first year that I really did that, besides just following as a regular citizen. Like before everything, I was just following politics, trying to figure out who these people were. And, there was never anything about anybody local. So I decided to do something about it. And it's still very difficult to understand who's running for office. And it's one of these things that is absolutely driving me crazy. We're going to get to that. We're going to obviously talk about the New Jersey race. We're going to start really off with some of the local political races, but then we get into a lot of different topics. I woke up this morning, I listened to some of these interviews with this guy, Nick Fuentes. I don't understand why he's everywhere. I don't understand the following he has. I mean, I understand it kind of, but if you have no idea who this guy is, I really don't even want to be talking about him. But Tucker's facing a lot of fallout, a lot of backlash for having this guy on, even though PBD had him on and a number of different people had him on as well. We're going to be talking about Nick Fuentes. We're obviously going to be bringing up Trump. Trump's made a bunch of very interesting comments on his Truth Social page that we're going to be talking about. Some are related right to my area in Ocean County, New Jersey. And what I like to do, you guys know this about me. I want everybody to understand that people don't realize what's actually taking place locally. So when Trump brings up something like Lakewood and he hails Lakewood as this wonderful place, we're going to talk about exactly what Lakewood is and how wrong I think Trump is on a number of the posts that he spoke about today. We have John Brennen gets in some guy's face, talking about obviously the Russian collusion, Russian disinformation, but the 51 agents that supposedly wrote that article, and John Brennen wrote that memo speaking about Russian disinformation. And it's funny watching everybody try to clarify what that actually said years later. So we're going to dive into that because you're hearing that all over the place. Then we have some fun stories, obviously, like the monkey truck flipping over. It's amazing to me how it's like horses travel in trucks all the time, and you never hear about horse trailers really flipping over. It seems like every other month there's a monkey truck from a zoo that's flipping over, and people are killing monkeys in their backyard that are like going after their children. It is a really, really interesting thing. But let's get the show started with the Mike's Right and talk about the Jersey race. All right, everybody. Let's talk about what is actually going on in New Jersey, what I see, the breakdown, and I'm going to give you some predictions on this Jersey race. Now, we have Donald Trump coming out and saying a number of different things, but he basically is throwing his full 100% support behind Chittarelli, and he's really trying to push the New Jersey race and the Virginia race over for the Republicans. I think Virginia is going to be a little bit more of an uphill battle. I have a feeling, if I had to look at that race right now, Winsome Sears is, not a very strong Republican candidate, but she's a very good candidate. It's just, the way she speaks, the other one's a horrible candidate. I mean, to me, it's once again, it's the same thing everywhere. And it's, I think what everyone gets mad at, you really don't have two very good candidates that are in this race, in the Virginia race. For whatever reason, it looked like it was trending blue earlier on today. Now, I think they get to start counting some early votes. I know New Jersey counted early votes, and it's very interesting when you hear some of these things. So you hear people reporting to you that, oh, the votes that are coming in now are 42% Democrat, 33% Republican, and the other ones are unaffiliated and all this. And they haven't started counting votes. So when you hear these numbers, what does that mean? What that means is how many ballots got requested to be sent out and how many of those ballots returned by registered voters. And that's the only thing that they know how to track. They don't know how they voted, but they're assuming that if it's a Democrat, it's going to be for Democrats, and they're assuming the other way. So that's what you're hearing. I don't hear as much as far as Virginia as I'm doing in New Jersey, but as of earlier today, Virginia looked like it was going to go all blue, even with the maniac attorney general who wanted to kill everybody. But then a couple hours later, it looked like it was flipping. That attorney general race was flipping a little bit with some of the return ballots. I can tell you this right now. Both in New Jersey and in Virginia, what you're seeing a much higher early vote turnout for Republicans. What does that mean? So let's take somewhere like Ocean County, New Jersey. This is my area. Ocean County, New Jersey is one of the reddest parts of New Jersey. I've spoken to you guys about this before. If you take Trump in 2024 versus Kamala had a lead. It was a small lead, a couple points, but she had a lead going into the early vote going into Election Day. Now, on Election Day, I think Trump took 80-something% of the vote, which put him at like 73% in my particular town, and in the county, I think went over 70% as well. But that was really big for Trump, and Trump was down in the early vote. Jack Chittarelli, from my understanding right now, in the returned ballots of early voting, is up 70% to 30% along the lines of what people are going to be voting on Election Day. Now, is he stealing some of his vote, possibly on an Election Day vote? I know a lot of people that only voted Election Day that have been voting early. But it's a very good sign for Jack that he got all of that vote. So when you break all of that down, everywhere going around, the Republicans definitely have a much bigger advantage in the early vote than they ever had going into the election. And it's going to be interesting to see if they could translate that and the same amount of people show up, because typically Democrats won the early vote, Republicans won Election Day. Now, if I had to predict the Virginia race, I just have a weird feeling because they went Glenn Youngkin. He's only doing 4 years. I'm really not sure. I tried looking into why he's only doing 4 years. He's not running for re-election. Does that mean he doesn't think he could win? And then, Virginia, we thought was going to be much closer in the Trump race, and it really wasn't. So they're going back and forth. I think the Democrats are going to take a clean sweep in Virginia. If I had to talk about the New Jersey race now, the New Jersey race is way more interesting. Jack Chittarelli has way more. This guy's run for governor like 3 times, right? So when you track what he's done the first time, the second time, and the last time. So the second time was against Murphy. It was coming off of COVID. Everyone in the state of New Jersey hated Murphy. Jack Ciattarelli ran away from MAGA. He was running away from the insurrection, as he dubbed it. And because of that, New Jersey, Republican voters in New Jersey did not turn out. Jack got a lot of crossover votes, and Murphy beat him by I think it was 4 points, 52-48, I believe is what the final numbers were. Now, Jack coming into this race has a lot more momentum on his side. He had the best debates that I've ever seen him have. He was very calm, very collected, and he actually has plans. He has plans to get electric where they need to go. I think when he was answering in the debates, he said very clear, concise reasons what the problems are. He recognized what the problems are, and he actually had solutions to fix them. Like for the energy crisis, for example, Murphy shut down 4 or 5 or 6 different energy producing plants, and now we're importing energy. So we're paying higher because we shut down our own power plants. Everyone in New Jersey knows this, and he identified that's a problem, and boom, we're going to go forward. Mikey Sherrill, on the other hand, her answer is, well, we're going to freeze rates. Well, what are you going to freeze them at? The rates that are already up? What kind of sense does that make? You're freezing them at these really high rates. No, we need to get them down. We need to produce way more energy. What's your plan to be doing that? And then late in the election season, Mikey Sherrill started adopting some of Jack's talking points, and she started talking about all of that. Now, let's get to something that Trump said, because it's just this type of stuff bothers me, okay? So Trump says the Orthodox Jewish communities all across America voted in a big number for me in our historic 2024 presidential campaign. Lakewood, New Jersey was one of our biggest wins anywhere in the country, with more than 90% of the vote. On November 4th, the eyes of the country are all on New Jersey again. I need all of my supporters in the Orthodox community in Lakewood and surrounding towns to vote for Jack in huge numbers. I'm going to tell everybody right now, the people of Ocean County, the hardcore Trump supporters, are fucking conflicted right now with this statement. And I'm going to tell everybody what's going on. And you know what? You're going to be, if you're Jewish watching this, you're going to be able to call me an anti-Semite for this, but it's the actual truth of what's taking place in Lakewood and in New Jersey. You have a situation where Jack courted the Jewish community so much, and what this one particular community is in fact doing in our area is they're abusing variance laws. They're pushing themselves into communities, calling everybody anti-Semites while trying to push their religion onto everybody else. This is just fact. They overdevelop land. They want the ratables with the store on the bottom and the store and the apartments on top. The amount of cars that they bring into a community, the amount of traffic that's brought into a community, it explodes. You cannot get around our towns. You can't get around our whole Ocean County area. You can't get around it. That is the fact of what's going on. Now, I'm not calling everybody in that group bad people. I do a lot of work for them. There's a lot of very good people. Individuals are different than the group. And then what happens is people don't realize something. When the Orthodox community, because it went out to all of the Orthodox community that you need to vote for Jack. So it was united. All the areas, Howell, Brick, Toms River, Jackson, all of the Jewish communities are going to be voting for Jack, and it's probably going to be 90 to 95% in his favor. And I rail against this all the time, guys, and it's nothing against that community in particular. It's about religion being able to vote themselves favorable politicians. So when I say this is a mixed bag for Trump, because there's a lot of Trump supporters that are sitting there witnessing what one of the communities has done to local schools, has done to local populations, what they did to Lakewood itself. They ruined the public schools in Lakewood. They have borrowed $254 million from the state of New Jersey, and they can't pay it back. They go bankrupt all the time. The town as a whole has no money. They have some of the highest rates of poverty in Ocean County, and they have no money. This is what has happened. But everything looks better. They have all the houses. They have all the traffic that you could ever need. Somehow, every house is worth $800,000, which is double what it is in my area. But every single one of these groups of people are voting, and they're voting in their favor. So when Donald Trump comes out and says something like this, and Jack is trying to thread a needle between MAGA and that Jewish community, I don't think something like that's going to help Jack. Because right now you have the people in Ocean County who love Trump are struggling with that response right now, and I'm included in it. Now, I'm trying to understand that community. I have actually Thursday, someone from the Orthodox Jewish community is going to be coming on the Brick Breakdown, and we're going to be having a very good conversation. We already had a pre-conversation where I spoke very, very plainly, just like I'm doing here to you guys. And honestly, he recognized that there's a lot of these problems that are happening. But when Trump says something like this in New Jersey, people that aren't from this area, you guys celebrate. You guys think this is some wonderful thing that he's doing. To me, I don't know if that's going to help him in Ocean County, and Jack has not helped himself in Bricktown and in Ocean County. So when he needs Ocean County and these votes to carry anything in this state, that's not going to help him. Now, I do think the overwhelming dislike for Democrats, the Democrat rule, the one-party rule that we have in this state, I do think is going to push Jack Ciattarelli to the top. If I had to make a prediction right now about this, I really think leading up to this entire thing, I was thinking that Cheryl was going to be taking it by 4 points. And then the stuff about her Navy came out. And then you listen to her into the debates, and she had nothing of any type of substance to offer. And when you see Jack, and when you see the response, and you see the Republican response, he has a lot of energy in this state, Republican wise, that is on his side. And I started thinking he was cutting into it, and then I had it at an even race, and then I heard the rates of the early vote return, and I have a feeling that that Jack is going to win, and I think he's going to win somewhat convincingly. I really do think it's going to be in the range of 50 to 80,000 votes. I had a buddy of mine that's very smart in this election stuff. Talk to me about a lot of this stuff. He thinks it's going to be bigger. He thinks it's going to be over 100,000. But that actually may help all of our local candidates, because they need all the help they could get in my town. But that, to me, is a New Jersey race in a nutshell. New Jersey, Virginia, and that is the update of it. Listen, New Jersey has its own very interesting group of people. We have our own, we are a very, very, very diverse state. And apparently we have the most segregated schools. But I'm hoping that, and listen, Jack is one of those Republicans that every Republican despises. But we've had so much Democrat rule for so long. I think we need someone like Jack to get in there. I don't like some of the school vouchers that he's promising, because it's, again, when you cater to the private schools, inevitably it destroys your public schools. You could see it happening, so the voucher system I like it in certain areas. I don't like it in other areas. But that is the breakdown on the New Jersey race. That's the Mike's Right, and I hope you listen. All right, let's get to the chat a little bit. Hey, by the way, however you're listening, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Rumble, I hope you first and foremost finger the hell out of my like button and share this. Let's have some fun. And if you like the analysis that's going on with New Jersey and nationwide, I really appreciate it if you would help me grow this show. Listen, I'm trying to build a tribe. I'm trying to build a whole legion of caltrops to where we are impenetrable from a lot of different things. But one of the things that I've noticed, and it's one last thing that I want to say about this Jewish community, and I think it's incredibly relevant. Every single one of us, especially when you're local has nothing to do with nationwide politics. So voting, to me, right down the block locally doesn't make any sense. But nationwide politics is something to where, or local politics is something to where we have got to be able to get together as groups of people that identify as different letters. One of the things that the Orthodox Jewish community should teach everybody is that when they stick together in that solitary 90% voter block, and I think it's honestly fucking disgusting that any block would vote 90%. I thought it was disgusting that 94% of black people voted for Barack Obama, and then 90% the next time, or 89 or whatever it is. I think that that type of thing is absolutely disgusting because it shows a one-way mentality. You're told how to vote. You're a drone. You're not a citizen. But the lesson to be learned from these things is they stick together as a group. And with that sticking together, they have power. And the more that me and you fight with each other for the R or the D and the Trump haters versus the Trump lovers and all this stuff, the whole time that we're fighting each other, people are fighting us, and we don't even realize that we're in a fight until it's too late. Because we were distracted over here, and then we get it both attacked, and we both get club punched from the side. And next thing you know, you wake up and you go, what the fuck is going on? Well, guess what? While you were too busy bickering with somebody that identifies as a different letter than you, people that identify in a certain religion and stick together as a certain group, as one solitary homogenetic mass, and they vote one way in their own self-interest, that should tell you a lot. I mean, that should tell you that you have a lot of lessons to be learned from what happens in New Jersey. But let's get to a couple different things here. Let's get to Tucker Carlson and this kid Nick Fuentes. If you don't know who this is Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. Apparently, it's Tucker Carlson's fourth most viewed ever on YouTube. So listen, this is what's going on. Actually, let's get to the, before I even get to that, let's get to the chat, because I've been neglecting you guys. I apologize. Yankee 68, always the first one to chat. My cameraman did a great job for me. Jay Calda, how you doing, Jay Calda? Said, yep, she was up about 4:30 this morning. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. 8 calories, Boondock Guy, Jersey Ape 69, and it's Johnny 69. We have a lot of 69ers in the chat. But please, put your comments. Who do you think is going to win the Jersey race? Do you think my prediction is right? Do you think my prediction is wrong? Let me know in the chat, however you're commenting, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble. So now, Tucker Carlson and Nick, I woke up to, man, people really motherfucking everybody, right? Ted Cruz is out there. Just to be clear, I called Nick Fuentes a little Nazi, not an empty epithet, but rather as an accurate description of what he believes. So people are calling this guy a Nazi. Now, I know a little bit about Nick Fuentes. I've listened to some of his stuff. Let's I guess play you a couple clips. Now, listen, this does not do him full justice for everything that he says, but this is an example of how he gained his following, what he says. The guy uses the N-word like it was going out of style. He has no problem saying it. There's definitely a niche there, but if you've noticed, this guy is everywhere. And I'm sitting there going, why is this guy being pushed up my ass when Charlie Kirk got shot? Charlie Kirk gets shot, and all of a sudden you have this Jew-hating guy being pushed everywhere? You know, and people are sitting there like, oh, he's definitely anti-establishment because he hates Jewish people. And I'm looking at it like going, no, what the Jews have done there forever, if you know what's going on, everything is anti-Semitism. So if you gain based off of other people's hate, and Jewish people have done that, they have gained off of other people's hate for a really, really long time. If you gain off of other people's hate, doesn't it stand to reason that you would set somebody up to create hate for you? That way you could gain further. The more people that hate you, the more ways that you could gain. So all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk gets shot, and this guy is being shoved up our ass everywhere. He's on PBD. He's talking with Dave Smith. He's talking with everybody. You name them. No matter what, they have Nick Fuentes on. And this is just a little taste of who this guy is.
And I will tell you this as plainly as possible. I don't want to live around black people. I just don't. It would be irresponsible if I had a wife and kids to live near black people. It just would be. And that's not to say that every black person is violent. It's not to say that every black person is the same way. But we watch the news. We read the papers. When you drive downtown in Chicago, you know who you got to look out for and worry about when you're thinking about whether you're going to get carjacked, when you're worried about catching a stray bullet, when you're worried about who's going to pull up on the side of the road and literally shove a rifle in your face and steal your iPhone or shoot you point blank, execution style, in Lincoln Park. We know who's doing it. I don't want to live near them. I don't want to be near them. They make me nervous. That's a survival instinct.
That's the fucking ignorance that this kid spews. And there's people coming to his defense. They call them groupers, where they're like ultra Christian nationalists. This is what they're calling them. People that love, that want to merge the Christianity and the nationalism together. But that's a taste of some of the things that he speaks about on his show. And now, if you think about just like, let's just take that statement. Now, that's a full statement in context. This is some of the stuff that this guy does talk about. But think about the ignorance of that fucking statement. And he's getting put out everywhere. I don't want to live around black people. It would be irresponsible for me. Let me tell you something. I just watched one of my black friends, people that you see all the time, David Patterson, on Halloween having a giant barbecue, hot dogs, hamburgers, having a party, everybody on their block. Nobody was getting shot. Nobody was getting stabbed. Little kids didn't get their fucking candy robbed. But we watch the news. We see what's going on here. It would be irresponsible for me to live by them based on what the news tells me. This is a young kid. You are ignorant as fuck. Why are you getting put out there? People call a guy a Nazi. That's a statement that tells me that you would be for ethnic cleansing. I don't know. Call me crazy. And this kid's getting propped up. And he's everywhere for saying shit like this. Now, I get it. There's obviously a subtle movement going on with the young kids because this guy has an audience. There's a subtle movement. There's something happening here with younger kids that they are drawn to this guy. And it's a perpetuation of ignorance. And what's going on with Tucker Carlson, and people are going crazy with him, is this type of shit. Listen to this. This is Tucker. This is the same guy. If you listen to the full interview, this is the same Tucker Carlson that was hammering Ted Cruz. That wasn't asking him leading bullshit questions. That was hammering him. He was setting him up to kick the shit out of him with some of the questions he was. Question after question after question. And Ted Cruz deserved it. But you have a kid say something like this and listen to Tucker's response.
Like late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's okay. Let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened. So
he reminds me of like a weirder Ben Shapiro, Ted Cruz mix. Like the way he talks, he's just kind of, I can't listen fucking to it. Your lips look like Mr. Ed, like they put peanut butter in your fucking, and you're trying to get it off as you speak. Bothers the shit out of me listening to this kid talk. But think about what did you just hear from Tucker Carlson? And what have you been hearing from this guy? What you've been hearing from Tucker Carlson is he's playing a very weird role. It seems like right after that Ted Cruz interview, he went into appeasing everybody. He went into playing this game like, I have no idea what any topic is about. And I'm just going to ask you innocent questions. And I'm going to act shocked as fuck when you answer them. when the whole time he's asking the leading ass question because he knows what the answer is going to be, because he does know these topics front to back, back and forth. You hear him talking about them. But what's this guy doing? He has him on. He doesn't hammer him. He doesn't go after him. He asks him leading question after leading question after leading question, basically not pushing back at all in any manner that means anything. And you have this kid that's going on show after show that's just spouting fucking ignorance. You know, and the problem is what he says is like, there's things that he says that I really do like, right? So it's something like this. No to Ben Shapiro, no to neocons, no to dual citizens, no to Benjamin Netanyahu, no to cancel culture, no to genocide and ethnic cleansing, no to Christ-hating Talmud, no to greater Israel, and no to our Jewish oligarchy. America first, America forever. Now, almost everything there I don't disagree with. But you have these young, ignorant Christian, and when I say Christian nationalists, I'm not saying in the way that the liberals want to put it. You have these people that are young, that are influential like him, that are trying to merge Christianity with government. And you guys have heard me say this before. I just railed about the Jews that vote and do something in their favor. Christians only want Christians to rule. You Christians do not want Jews to rule. You Christians do not want Islam to rule. But if I allow your religion to be the main powerful one that, you know, that everyone that's running for office has to consult with God before they make any fucking decision. If I allow that in the name of your religion, then I have to accept Islam, then I have to accept all what the Jewish people are bringing. Again, I separate the individual Jewish from the Jewish organizations, the people that are in power, the Vlads and all that stuff. They're different than the people. That's another thing I hate about when people say the blacks. I'll never live amongst the blacks. Which ones? I have blacks that live right down my street. I don't hear anything from them. They wave every time they go by. My dog got out. He grabbed him. He's a Rottweiler. He had no problem. He grabs him, brings him right back to my house. I gave his son a helmet for on his dirt bike. Why couldn't I live amongst these people? Ignorance. But just to sum this all up, the young Christian impressionable kids, great, you're finding Jesus, great. But I need you guys to take your religion and take your politics, and I need you to separate them. And this bothers a lot of people, and I don't care. Because when you accept one religion, you have to accept them all. And nobody outside of their own religion wants anybody to rule but their religion. You all think you're God's chosen people. You all think you're special. And I got news for you. You're fucking not. You're a regular ass person. The difference is you have some weird group behind you. And if you ask me, we need freedom from religion. We need an amendment in the Constitution that empowers the minority. Because when you have a place, like Minnesota, where they could play the Muslim call to prayer at 5:30 in the morning, everybody that's non-Muslim is being forced into that religion. You're now forced into it. America was created to protect the minority, and soon the non-religious are going to be the minority. And what happens when we get the wrong religions in control? What's going to happen in New York? It's things are coming. Speaking of New York, really quick, I have a new poll on this. It's interesting how much this is tightening, right? Final Atlas Intel New York mayor poll shows a tight race. Zohran Mamdani, 43.9, Andrew Cuomo, 34.9, Curtis Sliwa, 54. It looks like it's getting getting very close. Let's get to some of these comments. And listen, if you guys don't like what I had to say, I really don't care. Jews win in the name of this game now. Yes, I predict. Jay Caldas says, I predict Chitterelli win New Jersey, Mamdani, New York City. Virginia will be too close to call for me. Boondock Guy says he is shining because Kirk took his audience previously, and now that Erica is free to chase JD, Nick can have all the attention. I want to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of the Erica Kirk stuff. Wait, Isn't the news owned by the Jews? Not all of them. Yes. The young kids are adopting racism of our grandparents. Racism is cyclical. That's the point. He's part of the circus. So, I don't know if it's so much racism. I think we see it so much. I think the regular person is being tired of being called a name. Like, just to give you a personal story real quick, when you look at Manchester, New Jersey is going through a situation where they have, the Jewish religion's trying to put a bathhouse, which is really a commercial building in the middle of a neighborhood. And the first planning board meeting, the lawyer, or the planning board meeting, the lawyer, the first thing he did was read out what they deemed was anti-Semitic posts made by people on Facebook in regards to this mikveh being built. And the reason why they're doing that is to make everybody seem like they're an anti-Semite. They're calling everybody names. And I think what happens is people are just getting really tired of being called racist. They're getting really tired of being called anti-Semite just for being, for speaking the truth. I think the culture of shutting the fuck up and avoiding all this stuff is leaving very fast. And that is something that I fully support. All right, let's move on a little bit to a couple different things. Where do we want to go from here? Let's go to some fun stuff. Ready? Let's actually do the John Brennen thing, because the John Brennen is very interesting. Here's a video of John Brennen confronting some guy, getting in his face and actually poking at him. Take a listen to this. It's 20 seconds.
On the Hunter Biden, I see. Because I did it. And you misrepresented that. We never said it was disinformation. We said it was Russian influence operations, which is what they do. There's a big difference between influence operations. No, you don't know that. Yes, Comey knew. Comey knew. The literature said it had all marks.
We never said disinformation. And this is what you're hearing. So they're beating this drum because obviously John Brennen and all these guys are now getting a little bit of a taste of their own medicine when they went after Trump for all those years. And now Trump is going after them. And I absolutely love it, right? So this is what's actually taking place here. John Brennen and, AI and Google and all this stuff, they kind of want to, like I said, relive this and remake actually what took place. So when you look at the AI overview, it says, yes, a public statement was signed by 51 former U.S. intelligence agents officials in 2020, just before the presidential election, which suggested in the New York Post about the Hunter Biden laptop had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. A Russian information operation. But they call them liars. And they said they were influencing our election. What is an information operation? So all of these words, if you notice, you had certain places saying that it was a disinformation operation. You had other places saying that it was an information operation. Where do I thought I had a CNN video on this, but it looks like I didn't upload it, right? But you had people reporting on this. You had people reporting that it was they clarified Russian disinformation, and you had John Brennen saying, no, I never said that. And it's just very interesting because it was very hard to find the actual public statement. I have no problem. When I asked Google what was the actual public statement, show me that. I had to go through 9 pages, 14 different articles. I had to click on the links. It took me to one thing, to another, to another. It took me about 45 minutes today just to find the public statement so I could be accurate. And here's the public statement. We are all individuals devoted to a specific portion of our lives to security. And let's go blah, 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 blah. And let's get to the point where they say it. It's for all these reasons that we write to say that the arrival of the U.S. political scene of emails reportedly belonging to the Vice President Biden's son, Hunter, much of it was related to his time serving at the board of Ukrainian gas company Burisma, had all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. Such an operation would be consistent with Russian objectives as outlined publicly and recently by the intelligence community to create political chaos in the United States and to deepen political divisions here. Also to undermine the candidacy of former President Biden, therefore the candidacy of President Trump. For the Russians at this point, with Trump down in the polls, there's incentive for Moscow to pull out all the stops to do anything possible to help Trump win, to weaken Biden, Should he win, a laptop op fits the bill as the publication earmarks or emails are clearly designed to discredit Biden. Okay? Now, this is the second part of it. Such an or discredit Biden. Our view is that the Russians are involved in the Hunter Biden email issue, consistent with two other significant data points as well, according to the Washington Post, citing 4 sources. U.S. intelligence agencies warned the White House last year that Giuliani is a target of a Russian influence operation. In addition, the federal authorities are investigating whether Marshall was applied, whether material supplied to the New York Post by Rudy Giuliani is part of a smoke bomb of disinformation published by Russia. Did you hear that? In addition to media reports, according to the USA Today, and this is what they signed, federal authorities are investigating whether the material supplied to the New York Post by Rudy Giuliani is part of a smoke bomb disinformation put out by Russia. And that was all signed. Let's bring up to the bottom of it then. James Clapper, former director of intelligence, Mike Hayden, Leon Panetta, all of these guys. So in their own statement, they cherry pick one of the things that they want to say. Oh, no, we said it was an information. We said it was an information operation, and then clarified that an information operation is actually disinformation meant to discredit Hunter Biden and the former president in favor of Donald Trump. All of that is absolute 100% verifiable horseshit. These guys should go to jail. And the fact that he's in anybody's face pointing fingers is just absolutely fucking disgusting. It's the worst. Once again, over and over and over again, I see the absolute worst part when you have people and you have groups of people that have way too much power. Our federal government has too much power. These maniacs have too much power. Any one party that gets in office has too much power, period. And it really needs to stop. Now let's do some fun stuff. An Arizona judge, I'm not even going to mention her name. Check this out, was caught urinating in public. These are the people that are judging others.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? What are we doing?
For an Uber.
This is disgusting.
I'm waiting for an Uber.
Okay, this is unacceptable. Where's your ID?
It's my husband's wallet. Walk that way.
Spell your last name.
So that was that right there. That is an Arizona judge, everyone. Pulling up her panties while a cop is just like, oh, Jesus Christ, what is going on? This is, you want to talk DEI hire? I don't know if she's Republican or Democrat. Whether she is any of those things, that is, to me, considered a DEI hire. Now, this is a really uplifting story. Everyone knows Jack Ciattarelli's on the campaign trail. One of the things I didn't know is that he had a son that was deployed named Jake, and they surprised him today with Jake coming back to spend the final day or the final couple of days campaigning with his father. Check out this reunification moment. Really good moment here.
You know why, Jack? Come over here a second. Okay. Because this is an honor for what I'm going to say right now, that you don't know what I'm going to say right now. But your biggest supporter that serves his country just came over overnight to serve you.
Who's here?
Jake, your father, your son.
Awesome moment right there, man. Awesome moment. And that's the type of momentum that I'm seeing with Jack. It's why I kind of put it in the race. Let's get to some of the chats on some of the last couple of stories. Boondock Guy says, didn't you just say the Jews vote collectively? And that's what Nick is building, a voter base that would combat the Jews. What he's building, Nick, Yes, a voter base, but what are you going to have? You're going to have competing religions trying to vote themselves favorability in religion. Okay, this is the thing that bothers me. The America First movement is not a religious movement. Okay, and there's people that all around it that are trying to hijack some of the principles of the America First movement, and they're trying to attach it to their name. That's what the groupers are doing. However you want to call their name. They are doing the exact same, and I get it. They're trying to do the exact same thing the Jews are doing. I don't like either when there's a group that way. And I got to be honest with you, the dude came out of nowhere. Ben Shapiro's commenting on this guy at 18 years old. 18 years old. Why is Ben Shapiro doing that? Why is he platforming this kid? Because when Ben Shapiro started doing that, that's when the kid gained all this notoriety. Why is a Jew platforming a non-Jew at 18 years old to catapult this kid's career? To me, we talk about psyops all the time. That would be the greatest psyop, right? To me, if I was Jewish intelligence, I would want to create hate. I didn't say that to be anti-Semitic. I just said it because I think that's what they do. They use that hate against them to their advantage. They've used the Holocaust to their advantage. Now, all of it's used to their advantage. So why wouldn't you put a plant like that? He also goes on and says there's a big issue in that America was predominantly founded by Orthodox Christians. And the values they put in writing as a guide to live by, preventing the government from establishing. Yes, I think some of the laws are that way, right? But I don't think any of once again, I think we were founded a Judeo-Christian nation. I don't think we need to be ran as a Christian nation. I think people need standards. I think they need some type of morality. And is that rooted in Christianity? I think a lot of the religions are rooted in the same type of stuff. Don't kill anybody. Don't murder anybody. Besides some of the crazy Muslims, but I think a lot of the religions, if you believe in them, they stem from the exact same place. So a lot of them are going to have some collective agreement to it. So I think no matter what religion you're in, you are coming with it at some sense of morality. It just some might be a little bit more warped. And he says a religion doesn't mean it won't be influenced by religion. Yeah, you are not kidding. PT Pod, my man, PT Pod. Sorry we haven't been able to do the Friday shows. Way too much going on Fridays, but it's all come to an end. I had to see my daughter cheerleading. I was not missing that on her senior year, but now that is over with. PT Pod, check him out. He does a great job. That's my man. Fresh Mike, fucking white ass Mike. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. All right, let's get to this story. Monkeys. This apparently is a truck that flipped over and you had monkeys spilled out on the highway. This is, again, why is it always test monkeys? No, do they break out? Do they cover the guy's eyes? And the driver's like, oh my God. And they flip us in some like elaborate plan? Are they turning these monkeys into Captain American monkeys? Injecting them with shit? How are these monkeys making these trucks flip and then escaping and living in the wild? And then at the same time, you see a monkey that's just swinging around fucking Walmart in its underwear, just hanging out in the rafters. I don't know. It's very interesting. And you heard a story about one woman spotted one in her backyard and shot the shit out of it, fearing that it was going to attack her kids. And it's funny because when they released it said, hey, by the way, these monkeys will fuck you up, dude. They don't like people. They actually hate people. And if they see you, they're probably going to kill you. And monkeys, they go for the face because that's what they do. They're monkeys. Oh man, but I just I cannot get over that they that it's always monkeys that are being released. Let's get to this video. This is funny. If you guys remember from the Two Mics live show, you had Born to Ride for 45. This guy George Colella, and George is they excommunicated me when I broke up with that show because they have a love infatuation with that lying little piece of shit I used to do a show with. But apparently the fact that he had Born a Ride for 45 on his car, this old lady started yelling at him, and he posts this video. Check out this up close and personal video that George Calello posted about some maniac woman.
You know what? We're going to take a video of you and show how much you're a fucking idiot. Let me show you. I hope Trump gets killed. No, oh, yeah?
I hope Trump gets killed. That's another one of those I hate Trump because he hates people type Democrats. Speaking about retarded Democrats, here's Gavin Newsom.
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
Nothing bothers me more than the politician that just sits there lying to you. Does he realize that he is that politician that everybody rolls their eyes at and says, give me a break? Gavin, you've tried being 19 different people in the last 2.5 years. You went from being far left, using Latinx, to sitting down with Charlie Kirk saying, I don't know, I've never used that word before in my life. You went from like conservative to moderate to far left, back to conservative, back to moderate. Now I don't know what the hell you're doing. Now you're just cursing and making ridiculous, outlandish comments. Oh, man. Boondock Guy says the Muslims are doing it too. That's the Jews' plan this whole time, divide and separate. That's what everybody's plan is. It's not just them. And yes, the Muslims are doing it too. That is the stuff that I'm talking about. Do we want Christian versions of this?
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Iran State.
So it's two Somalias, and he couldn't even say United States. Somalia, United States. It's you. You get to say the you. But this guy's waving a Somalian flag by running for office in America. This stuff is allowed? I don't know, Boondock. You know what I'm saying? Like this is why I rail against any type of religion mixed in with any type of politics, because this is the stuff that we're going to get. We don't want these people. We don't want these people in office. And I do feel the same way, regardless of what religion I closely, I guess, more relate to. Let's get, what other videos do we have? Oh, this is a great one. This is Representative Janelle Bynum.
Have a clean CR vote on September 19th in the House. Did you vote for it? I disagree with your characterization and want to make sure that we're very clear about what Republicans have been doing. Any bill that they've put forth, they've always had some extra stuff to it. There's always been a poison pill to it. So I disagree with your characterization. What were the poison pills of the clean CR or the continuing resolution? You say it's not clean, that was voted on in the House in mid-September. Here's what's important. I think what you're trying to do is shift the responsibility to Democrats. They did.
Did you see that? Oh my God, when she was answering that question, like, hey, what poison pills did they put in her brain? It had to be going like, boo, boo, alarms going off, bells, and she's like, oh shit, what do I say? What do I say? Listen, you're trying to blame this on Democrats, you asshole. Hey, Joe, just answer the question. Back up one thing that you ever say. None of these fucking morons could back anything up. Let's get to some rapid fire. Let's get to some rapid fire news here. A lot of people are talking about the healthcare costs. Healthcare costs are skyrocketing. They were supposed to slow down after Obamacare. And if you look at this from 1999 all the way up to 2025, it's a pretty much a steady line increase. 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, 3,000, 2,000, a couple thousand. It's going up a couple $1,000s a year every single year, no matter what we did. Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Plan, didn't stop the increase. It did absolutely nothing but make a supplemented and made everybody's healthcare a little bit more expensive because you couldn't just buy it for yourself. You had to supplement everybody else that was around it. Here's Obama. Obama on Mikey Sherrill says, at a time when our politics feels broken, we need leaders like Mikey Sherrill for governor. Mikey would work to create job, lower costs, and do what's right for the people of New Jersey. Her party has never done that. And there's no way her plan, she is freezing costs is the most, she is the Kamala Harris of New Jersey. She has no plans but government freezing private numbers, and we all know what's gonna happen there. Governor Abbott says, breaking: Texas Governor Abbott claims that he will impose 100% tariff on anyone moving from New York City to Texas if Mamdani wins. Hakeem Jeffries is at it. He says that President Trump and Speaker Johnson are running a pedophile protection program. A PPP, pedophile protection program for your pedophiles. All you got to do is sign up on Trump's website, trumpforpedos.com. Hakeem Jeffries. Listen, these Democrats, now I believe that the Democrats are running a pedo program, a pedo protection program. I think a lot of them are running a pedo protection program, but I definitely don't believe that it's the Trump organization. But, the Democrats are great at accusing other people of doing exactly what they are doing. Trump apparently is partially funding food stamps right now. He's partially funding food stamps. A court order came down that he had to actually go ahead and fund that. I know he asked his lawyers if it was even legal to still fund the program. They went back and forth with the judge. I think the judge went ahead and gave him some clarity on what they can obviously what they can do in that situation. We have some chats going on in YouTube. I haven't seen this. Guy 5566 says, I've been watching Nick since 2016, and I knew from then he would be huge without censorship. Him being allowed on X was all it took for him to receive this level. He's not being shoved anywhere. He's just saying the truth about problems that the establishment won't touch, and resonates with young men. He's very talented. I agree with every single one of those things, Guy. He says, I am clueless. Actually, you are the ignorant one. What's your deal? Do you have a black wife or something? Obviously, he doesn't mean every single black person. You absolute woman. Grow up. Listen, Guy, here's the God's honest truth, Guy. You fucking guy. If he doesn't mean it, don't say it, buddy. If you don't mean it, don't say it. If you mean I can't live around certain black people, these certain type of black people, that say it that way. Don't say it in the most ignorant way possible. And I'll tell you the truth, if you're going to sit there and defend that guy Nick Fuentes every single day like you're doing in there, I think you're going to be sorely mistaken. But yes, you're right. He's very talented. He obviously has a hook on these young people, and obviously, Guy gave you a glimpse into how these young people do think. There's clearly a hatred and I wouldn't say hatred, but I think there's clearly a fatigue going on with a lot of the young people. And I think hearing some of the ignorant shit that comes out of Nick Fuentes' mouth, I think is going to be very interesting. And listen, in the midst of a lot of the ignorant stuff, there is some stuff that I agree with. Talking about ignorance, Donald Trump says, terminate the filibuster, not just for the shutdown, but for everything else. We will get all of our common sense policies approved, voter ID anyone, and make America great again. Remember, the Democrats will do it immediately as soon as they get the chance. Our doing it will not give them the chance. Republicans be tough. That's the most ignorant, retarded statement I've ever heard Trump make, past the one in Lakewood. I don't like the Democrats, but if you can't work together, ramming your own agenda through isn't going to do anything. I happen to say that you should be blowing up the filibuster right now, but make it specific for this. Because this is obviously 34 days of the shutdown, and you guys cannot get anything done. And it's what do we want to do? Go on 2 months of nobody doing anything, another 2 months out of the Trump administration from getting anything done? I think it's the stupidest thing on the planet. Trump goes on to say something I really like. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and anywhere must end immediately. The Department of War is preparing for action. Either the Nigerian government protects Christians, or we will kill the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. That is something that I 100% fully support. And Zoran Mamdani says, if he wins, this is going out to you, Trump. If you want to continue deporting illegal migrants, you will have to get through me. Something tells me, Mamdani, you weigh 112 fucking pounds. I don't think Trump's going to have a problem getting through you, and you're not standing in front of anybody. Well, let's get to the last comments here. Anything good So George is filming and driving on a motorcycle. Listen, Boondock, he always films and drives me outside of my mind. Old people can't drive to begin with. They have no business filming each other. But yes, at 85 years old, yeah. And he says, as a non-religious person, I'll take a Christian America versus Muslim and a Jewish America. I don't disagree with that. Unfortunately, we don't have the choice to pick and choose which religion that we're cool with. That's why I say all of them have to be banned, regardless of which ones I agree with. Boondock guy says Trump is 6'4", 245, and 4% body fat. 44% body fat is really what you meant to say right there. So there you go. That is the show, guys. I really appreciate everybody that was here. Even Guy in my YouTube comments, Guy5569, thank you very much for joining me, for calling me the ignorant one. I will put this out to you. If Nick Fuentes wants to come on and argue with me at any point in time, if you want to have a debate, Nick Fuentes, a real one, not like sitting down next to Tucker Carlson where he tickled your ass all day long, or you, Guy, come on, defend yourself to him. I know Dave Smith called out everybody who was going at Nick Fuentes. Dave, I will go at your ass as well. You cannot say retarded, ignorant things over and over and over again and expect me to accept you. If you want, I have no problem with it, with a lot of the things that this guy says. But when you make generalized, stupid statements and try to take your religion and inject it into your government, when you're mixed, when you have religion with ignorance and government involved, that is a trifecta for a lot of problems. But thank you guys very much. I really appreciate all of you guys. Mama Dukes says, boon. And Mama, love Mama Dukes. Love every single one of you guys. Once again, finger blast my like button. Really appreciate it. It loves being touched by your finger. The share button really enjoys it as well. That helps me get in all the algorithms. Let's build a Caltrop army. If you think I'm an idiot and you hate my guts, dude, like it anyway. Because, you know, whether you hate me or love me, it's an emotional response. And I will take all the emotional responses that I can possibly get. Everybody, I tell you this all the time. You have to be your own Caltrop. If you're someone that's blindly supporting somebody because you like some of the things they say, listen, you might want to dive deep into exactly who they are. Dive deep into exactly who I am. If you're going to listen to me, I want you to do that. You should be knowing who you're listening to. You should be knowing who you're paying attention to. And honestly, you should be critical about everything that I say. You should be critical about everything Tucker says, Nick Fuentes, any of these guys. You should be questioning all of these people. Don't accept any of it as truth. Because one thing I've noticed is you have a lot of people out there that are good talkers and they're able to get people sucked in. You know, and when you have idiots saying shit like, you know, I love Joseph Stalin. I love Hitler. Hitler was right. The Jews, like this type of stuff, it speaks to an ignorance to where it's not going to be healthy for a Republican Party going forward. I want a strong party. I want a strong voter base. I want a strong mind by you and me. And that's what the Caltrop is all about. We are your defense mechanism from all of this trash that's being thrown at your way, all of the ignorance, all of the lies. Thank you guys very much for joining me. This Caltrop is out. Later.